Hello, everyone. So we have another AMC 12 problem. So this was number 24. So let's see what we have. Since like we are given a parabola y equals x squared, and then there is a equilibrium triangle on that parabola, and one of the side has a slope of 2, and I just like to kind of draw a rough picture so to see how things are going to look like. Since this is y equals x squared, so which is our basic parabola. So let's try something like this. Okay, so it's not really the best one, but at least it will do the job. So since we know that like there's 3 points, and then we are told one of them has a slope of like 2, and it probably doesn't really matter where you kind of draw those like points, but at the same time, if I try to just choose one of the like the vertex at the vertex point of the parabola, vertex of the like one of the corners, one of the edges, I mean one of the like vertex of the triangle is on the vertex of the parabola. So then since this is an asymmetric, so we should have the other two just like on the parabola that is going to be horizontal line for that side. But since we don't really know if this is really the case, so I'm going to just kind of assume it's somewhere right here is one of the points. And let's say this is another point, and maybe this is another point. So again, it's just rough picture, so which is we're gonna see where this is gonna be look like. But for now, let's assume our figure is something like this. So it looks like a right triangle, it's not. So this is 60, this is 60 and stuff. So what we know is just the y equals x squared. So which is why I'm gonna start with, let's say this is a comma a squared, because if you choose x as a, so y will be that a squared. So then let's say this is b squared, and then c squared. And since we know the slope, let's use that. So based on this like drawing, so only line looks like the slope of 2 is the between a and b. So let's say this is equal to 2. Difference between the y's is b squared minus a squared over b minus a. So this is difference of square, so which will give us b minus a, b plus a. So if you divide by b minus a, so you will get b plus a. Okay, this is something nicer at least. So the sum of the x coordinates is 2 already. So we just need to find c. As soon as we have c, then we are done with the problem. So now we are gonna try to see what we can do, right? So we already have 3 variables, which is not really nicer. So in those cases, I love to kind of make less variable if possible. So which is why since the a plus b is 2, the average is 1. So I'm gonna just take the a as like 1 minus something, and then b as like 1 plus that something. So we can at least have one lesser variable. And based on that, like the point A is like 1 minus k, comma 1 minus k to the second power. So you can explain if you like, but I'm going to leave it for now. And then b is 1 plus k, and then 1 plus k to the second power. Okay, so now we have these, but what else do we have? So we have the slope, we kind of use a bit, but we maybe can try something else as well. So since we know this equilibrium triangle, we should use that as well. And I do know this line, which is AB, is perpendicular to altitude from C to AB, which is maybe useful because we know the slope, so we can find the slope of this guy as well. But let's try to do that. So it might be useful because other than that, we don't really have much stuff. So we just need to use every like piece of information that we can drive. So then I'm gonna kind of say this is 90 degrees, and let's say this is x, so that should be 2x for this side, and the height will be x root 3. So because 3690 triangle, and I do know the slope of this AB is 2, then the slope of, let's say this is D, is gonna be -1/2 because this is perpendicular to this one. And I do know a plus b is 2, so which is why we can take the midpoint because d is the midpoint. So the x coordinates will be 1, and then b squared and a squared, but this is like a squared, this is b squared. If you add these two and divide by 2, you get the y coordinate, which is gonna be nicer because if you add these two, you got the like minus 2k and plus 2k, that is going to be 0. So you get 1 plus k squared, 1 plus k squared, which is 2 plus 2k squared divided by 2 is just 1 plus k squared as my y coordinate, which is good, at least. So maybe we can use this as well because it was, the slope is -1/2, and then I do know I need to find the c. So I may try to connect the k, which is the variable that we got by changing a and b, with c. So maybe if we can get two equations in terms of c and k, then we will be probably done with that. So maybe using the slope is a good idea now as well. So if I take the slope now, that's gonna be like c squared, but maybe I should start with this one. 1 plus k squared minus c squared, that's the difference of the y's, divided by the 1 minus c, because this is 1 and this is, this is 1, this is c. So that's my slope. Okay, so let's keep this for now, right? So this is something we are gonna probably use. And what else do we have? We know that this height somehow related to the side of the triangle. Maybe we can use that as well. So, but in order for us to do so, we just need to find AB as well. So maybe I can do that. So the AB as distance, I'm gonna say AB squared, is equal to we can use the distance formula between these two variables. So if I take the this minus this, so 1 plus k minus this, the ones will cancel. You got k minus k is 2k. So you get 2k squared plus, and then this subtracted from this, when you subtract the ones and k squared will be gone. So you get 2k minus 2k, which is 4k. And then that needs to be squared, which is 16 plus 4, which is 20k squared. So, okay, this is also promising because we have at least something in terms of k. And I do know this height is x times root 3 when this is 2x. So if I want to kind of write the ratio, I can, but at the same time, I do know this distance can be written in terms of this one. So how can I do that? So we can just like divide this distance by this, so which is going to be x root 3 over 2x, which is root 3 over 2, right? That is the ratio of this side to this side. So if I do know this segments, I can just relate to that. So to get the CD based on this ratio, but we also know that as well, which is 20k squared is equal to AB squared. So maybe since I like to deal with the square, maybe I can square this as well. If I square, that will be 3, 4. So this ratio should be equal to this guy to this ratio, but the other way around. So which is gonna be like 20k squared. And if you don't like that, so you can just plug it like as a ratio of these two, like 20 square root of this number, and a square like this distance gonna be like another thing you can just write as a ratio, but I just did the square to make it a bit nicer. So now this distance is gonna be 1 minus c squared. So I'm gonna kind of do side work for this one. So the distance between CD is equal to 1 minus c squared minus, plus 1 plus k squared minus c squared, 1 plus k squared minus c squared. Okay, so if I can write this distance in terms of just k, then we will be done. So this is the distance of CD. So I just need to take this one and simplify and plug it somewhere. So we can kind of get something out of this. But at the same time, I do have something similar to right here as well. So if we look at this expression, so maybe we can actually kind of replace 1 plus k squared minus c squared is in terms of like 1 minus c. So if I multiply both sides by 1 minus c, so I'm gonna get like, maybe I can square because I have square as well. So that will be 1/4 equals this square divided by this square. So if I multiply by the square of this, you get 1 minus c squared over 4 is equal to 1 plus k squared minus c squared to the second power, which is what we need. So when you square this and then make this alone, this is what we have. So we can plug it here. So this is equal to 1 minus c squared over 4. If I add to this number, so this is one of these, this is 1/4, so that will be just like 5/4 1 minus c squared. Okay, this is something also nicer because I do have now an equation in terms of c and k So this is CD squared, but I do have this is just CD. So I can just plug it right here, right? So if I have, like this is 3-4 ratio, another way of saying that if I take the 3/4 of this guy, then I should be getting this CD. I'm gonna kind of write here. So CD, and then this is gonna be like squared because we just squared on this previous step. So if I do this, so this CD squared is equal to, that will be 20k squared times 3 over that. That's gonna be 5, 3 is 15. So 15k squared. So that is good. So now we can just plug this into like another equation, because we have the CD squared is equal to this, and then CD is equal to this. So these two has to be equal, right? And also we have another relation between those variables as well. So let's kind of go ahead and simplify now. So I'll say from here, so we can just multiply this by 2. So I will just write this as like 1 over -2 and cross multiply. So that should be 1 minus C is equal to 2 times C squared minus K squared minus 1, right? And then this is equal to, instead of K squared, right? Since this is equal to this, so I can just write K squared in terms of this expression. So maybe I should do a bit side job. So 15k squared is equal to 5/4, 1 minus C squared. So these will cancel, that will be 3. So multiply by 4, so that should be 12k squared is equal to 1 minus C to the second power. Okay, so then I can divide by 12 to get k squared. So that should be 1 minus C is equal to 2 times C squared minus K squared, which is gonna be 1 minus C squared divided by 12, and then minus 1. So now this is the equation in terms of just C. So I'm gonna kind of leave that part for you to deal with. So you can just like expand this and multiply by 12 and simplify, and then you get like a quadratic. You can either like use quadratic formula, but it is factorable. When you solve, you got 2 values of C. One of them is like 1, and the other one is gonna be, now we do have like C is 1 and -1, 19 over 11, but the 1 doesn't work because if you just plug it right here, so like for C, so C should be the one that is negative based on our reasoning, right? And then you can even try the positive one just to see if this is gonna work with the other restriction, but it will not. So which is why we are gonna take this guy as our answer for C. So that's gonna be -1. And we had the like A plus B was 2. So we are looking for the sum of those 3. So 2 minus 19 over 22, which is gonna be, 11, the denominator is 11. So that will be 22 minus like 19, which is 3 over 11. So since we are looking for the sum of 3 and 11, so that should be just 14. So again, this was like number 24, so it was a bit challenging, but I just tried to use basic algebra and some sort of reasoning and stuff. But otherwise, the question wasn't too challenging. But I'm gonna let you try some trick as well if you do have some background. So I think we can do this problem slightly differently with using some trick identities. So I'm gonna leave that as a challenge for you, okay? So I'll see you in the next video.